Well, this has been a long time coming. It's been something I've been dealing with for almost going on 2 years. Something I've kind of kept to myself. I've shared it with a handful of people that might have asked questions as to, what are you doing? How's your well-being? What's going on in your head? Haven't seen much of you lately. Things seem to be different, and for those people that made that statement, you're pretty spot on. Things are different. Things are very different. So different, in fact, that most days I have to pinch myself a couple of times to make sure that I'm actually Justin Kidd, and that I'm still alive, and that the things that I'm experiencing and learning about are valid and true. I spend a lot of time in prayer, trying to understand what's going on, and trying to ask the greatest authority that I have in my realm, which would be God. Is this really what's going on? And if so, why have I been giving all my time and attention to it, and have been getting a front seat in the theater to exactly what's transpiring at this point in the history of mankind, I guess? I guess I'll start off with talking about something that's very near and dear to me, and something that I think we can all relate to in the idea of human perception. So we are what we perceive, right? Human beings are 100% driven, guided, a consequence of the things that we perceive. So what is perception, right? What is that? Well, perception is our belief structure, right? It's the things that we know in our mind to be true, right? True and valid. Things that we have experience with, that we've dealt with over our lives. Some of them ended well, some of them maybe not so much. But experiences that we go through, we see them through their conclusion, and we add the knowledge that we gain from that, good or bad, to our collective consciousness to be able to apply that in future situations, right? So it's like hunting, right? So every year for the longest time when I was a kid, I went to the same spot every opening day for like 10 years. Why? Okay, well, so my perception was this. The first time that I went to that spot on opening day, I saw the nicest buck I've ever seen in my life. Yes, I shot at him. No, I did not get him. But it said in my mind that, hey, if this was the end result of an action that I took in trying to accomplish something, and I saw success, or was close to success, then that is a behavior or something that I've done that I would repeat again, expecting either the same result or something similar, right? So that is perception. Some people refer to it as far as a belief structure as doctrine, right? We have lots of different types of doctrine in the world. And doctrine fundamentally is it's a belief structure. It's a belief structure that shapes how we interact with the world, right? If I believe in something, or I believe something is right, or I believe something is wrong, that guides my actions, right? I base my behavior and how I interact with the world and its stimuli based on what I think is correct or incorrect, or is going to give me reward or have consequence, right? So those are the things that guide my decision making, and decision making ultimately leads to an action, and an action for me is to have a desired outcome. And if that outcome is not what I hoped it would be, or it's wonderful and it's amazing. If it's great and it's good, I have the tendency to repeat it. If it's not what I thought it would be, I modify those things in my head and I change my behavior in subsequent attempts to do whatever I'm doing in hopes that the outcome will be better than it was the first time, right? So perception. The thing is that human perception is very moldable by things that are outside of us, right? Think about where you get your information and how that shapes how you view the world. You know what? I've been told that we live on a planet called Earth. It's round, or actually spherical, if you will. And that outside of that is this immense, realm of space. And that in that space there's other planets and there's other stars and there's who knows what, right? I see pictures of it. I see it on scientific websites, literature, but I gather that information, I add it to my collective consciousness. It shapes how I view the world. And I act on that every day, just as you do, right? You are what you believe. And that's so critical to everything that we are about as humans, right? Just think about what shapes your decision making and your actions every day. If you have a particular faith, let's say you're LDS, right? Latter-day Saint, you're Mormon. Think about how that perception of the world from that perspective shapes every action and every interaction that you have with other people and with the world in general, right? It kind of dictates to you, not totally, but I guess dictate's not a good word. It's more like guide. It guides your actions every day based on what you believe and what you expect the outcomes to be. And that's a powerful force because it's easily manipulated, right? Very easily manipulated. It's something that can be changed or augmented by any number of factors in this world. It could be media. It could be a trend, a cultural trend. It could be, friends and family saying, hey, this is something that you need to ascribe to. This is something that is true. And since you have faith in them and what they have taught you over time, you have the tendency to fall in line with that. And you make that part of your belief structure and you base your decision making and your actions on that. So perception. Perception is key. It's key to being human. It's key to the world we live in, mainly because information is, for the most part, we want to believe it, but it's very uncontrolled, right? There's a million different sources out there, especially in the age of the internet, right? Which is a beautiful, amazing, mind-blowing, wonderful thing because you essentially have the collective consciousness of mankind and all that knowledge and all of that influence and all that power available to you sitting in your living room in a device that fits in your hand. You can gain knowledge about basically any topic that exists in the universe simply by being able to type it into a device that you hold in your hand and have it respond with the correlating information that somebody has gained and is put out there in a format that we are able to tap into and imbibe and use as our own. And that is fabulous. It's amazing. It's amazing. Look at how fast technology progresses and how fast our culture and our machines and everything that surrounds us every day is growing and improving. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So where does that come from? Well, we are amazing creatures. Very amazing creatures. We have some of the most amazing abilities in the ability to contemplate our very existence, right? To be able to think through the physical realm that we live in and the processes that guide, all the things that go around go around us, go on around us, like the weather, the devices, and the cultural aspects that we deal with every day, we're smart. We're very smart. You know why we're smart? Because we were made in the image of a creator that wanted us to be much like him so that he could have a relationship with us. He loved us. And all he wanted was for us to love him in return. So it brings me to kind of a conundrum. You know, I despise evil. I see there's a lot of evil in the world nowadays, right? You turn on the news, it just kind of floods your consciousness. Awful things going on, things that I don't understand, things that I can't imagine being a part of, but people do it, right? And I try to understand where they're coming from and what motivates them and what drives them to do that. And you know, essentially, just for lack of, you know, getting too far into the weeds, and a better understanding from Justin Kidd's perspective, those things happen for one reason. And that is because evil exists in the world. There is a God, and there is a Satan. And there is a constant war, even though we don't see it or, you know, dwell on it every day or involve ourselves in that every day, that there is a constant war going on between the forces of light and the forces of darkness every day, right? And the things that you see, that you look at or you hear about, and you're like, oh, I cannot believe somebody would actually